And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for our Let's Play of Dark Souls, one of the greatest games of all time, created by humans.
Indeed.
We are getting back into
Oh, Lord.
the Ravager's quest to rekindle the flame, the kiln of the first flame, or not. We'll see. Plot twist aside, we'll find out. We just finished doing something. And now we're going to go to the depths. I forgot
We
what
just
we did
finished the lower berg and killed Capra.
Right, we killed the Capra Demon, and now we're going to the depths.
Yeah.
Now again, as we've mentioned over and over, the verticality of the world. We were going up into the Undead Berg, and we did all that, and then we started our descent downwards, and so we did the lower Undead Berg, and now we're going deeper into the depths, and after that we will go yet deeper. Into a yet unnamed area, because no spoilers.
Yes, this section is the beginning of the sort of hero's descent, where for the next half of the game, well, the next several sections will just be going down and down and down and down, descending essentially toward hell.
And then we'll go back up.
Yes.
And then we'll go all over.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the door that we opened at the end of last time, and so now we are going down into the depths proper.
Right. The Capra Demon's key opened that door.
Yes.
And now we're actually into the depths. Now the first enemies we fight here are just the standard hollow soldiers that we've seen before.
Oh, Lord.
But you've got to be careful because really close quarters, so your spears and swords will hit things. Also, they're behind you and to the side, so you got to go kind of step by step here and be careful because you don't want to get swarmed by 10 of these guys.
Yeah, and as you can see here, we can see a lot of them. This area has a lot of enemies in relatively close proximity, so if you do not take your time, they can swarm you.
And also, if you'll notice, those tables there can get in your way, so you just want to not be caught with 10 of them all around you in that room with all those tables and everything. Low maneuverability. Of course, we have a Black Knight weapon, so the game is broken, and none of this matters to us.
Now, I've seen a trick here where you can bypass this whole room. If you do a running attack right off this ledge right here, you can run and, like, smash down right on the butcher there. But anyway, this is another example of the verticality and of the game sort of teasing what's to come, where we see a butcher down there, and we are obviously soon going to be encountering her.
And we're going to fight the butcher. That's not a friendly NPC. Because there aren't any.
Whoa, hello there. Yeah, these fire guys are probably one of the most deceptively dangerous enemies in the game. Because you think, oh, they're you know, the basic hollow, they don't have any armor or weapons in it, but their fire attack is probably one of the most damaging attacks.
Yeah, and especially if this is your first playthrough and you're not used to it and you don't have good gear, you can really get into a bad spot and die stupidly.
Yes.
Well, you'll die stupidly anyway, but in this specific sense, you can die stupidly.
Okay, so just making my way. Wow, somebody got cursed right here. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, this is one of the multiplayer elements of the game. When you can be cursed in the game, and when you are cursed, you will turn into one of these spiky
sort of
statues.
Crystallized, cursed things.
Yeah, and you will revive with a curse, which will reduce your maximum HP by, I believe, a quarter or a half. It used to be a half. I think now it's a quarter. But other players will see your crystallized statue death in their game. So somebody getting cursed here is quite interesting because this isn't.
How did that? In multiplayer, you can't curse anyone.
No, you can't.
There's no weapon. That is bizarre.
So I don't know how that person got cursed right there.
Unless they dragged one of the frog things all the way up.
Maybe. But anyway, here's two more demon dogs down here with the butcher. Demon dog's my nemesis in every game ever. God, I hate them. And they do a bleed effect because of course they do.
Well, they can't make it too easy.
Alright, and there's the butcher.
Now there are... Well, you gotta take the dog. There are two butchers in this room. This is the first one. The other one you got to be careful with. But
Yeah,
well,
the other
this one
one
first.
is semi-hidden.
Yeah, we'll get to that one in a minute. Now these butchers are actually not very difficult. They telegraph their moves. Really, I mean they move very
Yep.
slowly.
Oop,
They do a lot of damage, so if you get caught, it's bad. But
oop, there's the
you just
sack.
roll, roll and hit.
Alright, and then now here is the first, well, not the first, but one of the embers. And this is the large ember. This, if you take it back to Andre, this will allow you to upgrade your normal weapons from +5 to +10. And also right here there is a shortcut that I normally take. Should we take it or go the normal way?
Go free the pyromancer first.
Oh, right. I always circle around and do that again.
Well, all right. But I mean, for the playthrough, it might be interesting for them to see that
Yep.
guy. Right.
Okay, and there's more demon dogs.
Right. So then there's a shortcut, but we're going to show you where the pyromancer is first because he has skills, and for some of you that may be interesting. Now down here, there's two demon dogs and a skeleton guy.
Yep.
Again, if you have a Black Knight weapon,
God,
none
dude.
of this matters.
Well, it still matters. I mean, I can still get hurt.
Well.
Anyway, can you
Also, for water stuff, is the rusted ring. You need that to move.
Yep. Now the other butcher is right there. You can
Right.
barely see him.
You see him up on the rafters, and when you approach that doorway, he'll drop down. And this area here is again fairly close quarters, but you still have enough room to roll and dodge. And
Yep.
it's not too difficult.
And actually, these butchers are female, according to the devs. Which
Such beauty.
which is confirmed when the guy we're about to save, his dialogue, because he says, "If you didn't save me, I would have been eaten by her," which the devs have confirmed refers to these butchers.
Well, one of them.
Yeah. And then so here he is back here, and he's stuck in a barrel. And if you attack, you will aggro him and not be able to get him, so you have to roll into him.
So again, this is like the Magician's Apprentice guy we freed in the Undead Burg, the lower Undead Burg. These are NPCs that will teach you skills in their respective schools of magic. This guy being Pyromancy, pioneered by the Witch of Izaleaf and all that fire stuff. And this guy's from the Great Swamp, which is another area in the greater world outside of Lordran. And then in one of those barrels you can get all his gear, which is basically the starting Pyromancer gear if you weren't a starting Pyromancer.
Wait, do you get it here? I think you get it in Blighttown.
Oh, I thought it was here. Maybe it was in Blighttown. I
Yeah,
just assumed it was nearby.
I'm pretty sure it's Blighttown.
Okay, so forget I said that, but these are a bunch of barrels.
Yeah.
But basically, you just talk to him once, and then you leave, and he'll be at Firelink Shrine next time you're back.
Yes, and
That's basically how all these NPC things work.
Yep.
And now, you could either take that shortcut we showed you near the first butcher, or go down this path.
Yep, and now here is another trap, because above us is a slime that you can't really see, but there is a guy here that's supposed to... and I get caught by it anyway.
Yep.
I'm such a good teacher.
But basically, you're supposed to roll out of the way, but it... And these slimes actually have a lot of HP, but they don't... I don't think I've ever been hit by them. They just come at you real slow.
No.
And hardly ever attack you.
They come at you very slowly, and their attack is very slow in general. So unless you get one drop on your head like I just did, they're
Now,
not
their
that
attack
difficult.
does hurt, so you don't want to get caught by it, but again, it's pretty easy to just hack away at them.
And they do have a lot of hit points, but again, Black Knight weapon trivializes everything.
Breaks the game.
Well,
PvE.
And once again, oh look, there's a million T slimes on the ceiling
I think there's
here.
4 or 5 in a row here, so you just kind of go step by step and try to get them one at a time if it's your first playthrough, because if not, they just creep up on you. But again, Halberd just hit.
Oh, hello there.
Another alternative is if you don't feel like fighting these guys, if you just sprint across the hallway, they won't fall on you. Like, they'll fall behind you as you run past them. And at the end of this hallway is a bonfire, so if for whatever reason you're hesitant to want to fight all of these things at once, just dash across, get into that doorway, and there will be a bonfire.
Although, actually, this bonfire is locked. You have to get a key first. Which this is one of those, as I mentioned at some point, I think most areas are set up so that there is a bonfire near the beginning, and then there's a secret bonfire about halfway through it. This one is the secret bonfire of the depths. Normally you need a key, but since we have the master key, it trivializes it.
I don't think I've ever started it without a master key.
I think I did once. But yeah, so this is the hidden bonfire of the depths. This means you don't have to run back to Firelink or wherever else you would be.
Which is a pretty big help because it's far.
I'm actually not going to do this because I am going to go backwards here, and I don't want to reset all the enemies. Now the normal route is to go down here.
But we're going to take a shortcut.
Yeah, and then look here, there's a giant rat. And you can go down here, or you can go down there. I hate going both of those ways, so we're going to go back this way.
I mean, we'll tread through most of this area.
Oh yeah, we'll get through most of it. Do we want to go through the bottom section with the frogs?
Yeah, we should, because there's a good ring down there, isn't there? The evil eye ring?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Or do you, I mean, if you really don't care for it.
I mean, we can do it. I think we'll be alright. But anyway, yeah, so we just went through all this the front way. What you can also do, which is what I'm about to show, is again bypass all this and go through the shortcut right here. This drops you right above that giant rat that we just saw.
But don't attack right away because there is a spider shield up here.
Indeed.
And that is good because it lowers poison effects.
It gives you poison resist, which is another instance of the game sort of hinting to you about what's to come. It's giving you a poison resist shield, telling you that poison might be important later.
And it's really, I mean, throughout the game you use that a lot. So
yeah.
You do want to get that. And
All
from
right.
here you can do a drop attack, which does a lot of damage.
Indeed. Let's see if I can get it to work. I can.
Hooray.
And it killed him in one hit.
The thing about this rat, if you actually fight him head on, he's pretty annoyingly difficult.
Yeah, he has poison effects on him.
Right, and he's fairly fast, and it's just you basically can't block him. You have to roll, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
If you can get the drop on him from above, good for you.
Yep, and then here's the key that normally opens up the bonfire. Now, normally the way that you would get into this section instead of falling down would be going through here, but F all that.
Are there? I don't think there's really any important items down there. Well, right there, there's one. You can get that.
Well, no, this is the sort of maze area that ends up dropping you down at the bottom. Here's another shortcut. If you take the shortcut that I just showed you to get to the top and then drop down on the rat, and then if you take this shortcut right here,
Water slide.
boom, you will come out right here, and then the boss is right there in front of us, and this road takes you right back up to that bonfire that we just opened.
And
So-
the part we skipped is, do we want to show? I mean,
Yeah, we'll show it.
We might as well show it.
Yeah.
Because the part we skipped doesn't really have anything that important, but there are some enemies and a few items, so you might as well know.
Yep, and so we're right here at the bonfire. So if you take those two shortcuts in succession, you can bypass the majority of the level.
So if you're doing a speed run or something,
Yep. Alright, well, I'm going to up our endurance.
endurance.
Yeah, so if you're doing a speed run or if you just don't care for the depths and want to get through it as quick as possible to get to Blighttown, that's your best bet.
Although I don't know why you would want to get to Blighttown.
Alright, and so now, here's rats. You do that.
Oh, those rats.
Now, this particular section right here is one of the best areas for farming humanity in the game. If you
Right, because
have,
rats have a high drop rate of humanity.
yeah,
And if you get the covetous serpent ring and build your humanity up, you basically get like a 1-to-1 ratio between rat kills and humanity.
yeah,
So if you're into humanity farming, this is the place.
this is definitely the place. Alright, and then over here, this is something that I would advise most players to do, if I can remember where it is. Let's see, that's the way here. Is before you actually go and fight the boss, to go down, where, I forget which direction I'm supposed to go. Oh yeah, it's right here. To go down this route and take out the sorcerer. I forget their actual names. That's right here. Otherwise, he will shoot soul arrows at you throughout the entire boss fight. And just.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I've always killed him.
Yeah, yeah. If you do not kill him, he will shoot soul arrows. Are you shooting? Are you shooting me, the rat? Yeah.
That rat is making you his bitch.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't kill him, he will shoot soul arrows at you for the whole fight. Fuck you.
Such a dangerous
Whoa,
foe.
shit. Whoa, shit. These rats.
Such a dangerous foe. And that sorcerer there was kind of a joke, but in the Duke's archives, they're super annoying.
Yeah, in the Duke's archives, they're kind of a pain.
And this large area that we're in right now is where we'll fight the boss eventually. If you look
Yeah,
down there,
the boss
that's
will. Yeah.
the arena for the boss fight.
Yep.
And right now we're in the topmost level of it. So again, as we said, this world just entwines upon itself. And it always gives you hints as to what's coming next.
Yep, and then right here are large Titanite shards, and there's several large shards here, and there are several more in the area we'll go to right after this, which they're the shards that upgrade your weapons from +5 up to +10. So this is further indication that by the time you get past this area and toward the end of the next area, the developers are sort of expecting you to have about a +10 weapon, because they're feeding you these shards in order to make that happen.
Or a Black Knight weapon.
Yeah, or a Black Knight weapon. So normally I would go just back and go to the boss right now, but we're going to go down here and in this little maze area, and this area has a lot of...
Turn right.
This area has a lot of random drops in it.
The way to go is you take the first right, and then you take that left back. Well, you just...
What do you want me to do? Go this way?
Well, I wanted to show them where the big rat area was.
Oh.
So yeah, you take the first right and the first left, and you go straight down here, and then another right, and that'll take you back to the giant rat.
Yep, here it
If
is.
you'll take a right here, then we're back up to the giant rat.
Yep, but at several points, there are these things.
Ah.
And so these
So, yeah,
are...
if you take a wrong turn, you can drop. And then
Yeah.
down here are those little frog guys, and
Yeah.
those can curse you. And we mentioned curse earlier, and you don't want to get cursed, like
Nope.
at all. I'm serious. Don't ever get cursed because it's a pain.
It's a big pain, and these are actually basilisks.
Right,
They
that's what I
are...
meant by frogs.
Yeah.
is basilisk.
I mean, yeah, curse is extremely annoying, especially this early in the game.
But I mean, at no point in the game do you ever want to get. It's just
No.
it's such a huge pain.
But it's a lot. It's not nearly as bad now as it was when the game was first released. They've actually nerfed curse quite a bit. The old there my curse bar is building up because these guys they can't stop cursing.
So you just kind of want to back out until they're out of their fogs, and then you kill them.
Yeah, these guys have no attack aside from the curse fog. So just back out of the curse fog, you know.
Like, they're not scary in any way.
No.
You just don't want to get hit by the fog.
Yeah. But yeah, as we said, see, here's more players who've been cursed and left behind statues. Curse will At first, it kills you. Second, it will reduce your health by. Again, I don't know. It used to be half. It would permanently reduce your health by
I think it's
half.
still half.
Okay. And that will not change until you break the curse. And you can only break the curse by using an item that breaks curse,
Okay, now here there's a hole right there, so you want to get a little bit of a running start up the stairs
or
and then jump
just
across.
fall back into it like I do.
But then you won't get the item that was on the other side.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I'm going back. I didn't intend to fall there.
So the Ring of the Evil Eye gives you HP every time you kill an enemy, so that can be useful during your
Yeah.
adventures.
But yeah, anyway, so the only way to beat Curse is to either use a Purging Stone, which has to be purchased, or go to one NPC in the game who will break Curse for you.
But he's in New Londo Ruins, so it's a long. You just don't
Yeah,
want to get cursed
you
right
just don't want to get cursed. And again, Curse it'll keep your HP at half until you break it. It used to be, if you were cursed every time you died again, it would reduce your HP by a further half. So if you got cursed and then just died, you didn't have to get cursed again. If you just died again while cursed, your HP would get reduced again. So that was ridiculous. And then coming up here, we are going to have our very first NPC Dark Phantom Invasion by our good friend.
The Knight of Thorns.
Yeah, it's Kirk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kirk
And
the Knight of Thorns.
they're kind of like a PvP invasion, except it's not other player. They're just these story NPCs.
Yeah, it's their story NPCs, and they actually all really have a story.
Yeah, I mean, because you can get items of theirs throughout the game, and they'll tell you Kirk, the Knight of Thorns, was a notorious Dark Wraith. So
Yeah.
he worked for Cath. And,
Although, actually, he is not currently a Dark Wraith. He was a Dark Wraith, but he has since changed allegiances. As you sort of are shown. Again, they don't say it explicitly, but you can infer from what happens that he has changed sides. And the developers have actually confirmed it. Alright, now these little rats, if you saw right there just for a second ago, they will show you the way out. The little rats will always scurry toward the exit.
is Kirk not? Did you come at it from a wrong angle?
Nope, he's right here. And they will always respawn the same spot.
Oh, there he is.
You can always get a free backstab on Kirk here.
And Kirk is called the Knight of Thorns, as we mentioned, because his armor is all thorny.
Yes. God damn, these rats give me all sorts of trouble. Yes, so Kirk was vanquished because I knew where he was.
And Kirk invades you another few times. I think the third time you kill him, you get items of his.
I think it's random, but I think... No, yeah, he invades you 3 times, and I think whether or not he gives you an item is random, but I think you always end up getting them. He will drop his sword and his shield. And if you kill him all 3 times, his body will appear in a place that we're going to go to later, and you will be able to loot his armor off of his body. And his armor, because it has thorns on it, will cause you to do damage to any enemy that you roll into. Alright, and so that's pretty much the whole depths. It's mostly just the butchers, the big rat, this slime corridor, the frog corridors.
They're basilisks, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
And
Let's
now
see.
we're just going to go to the boss.
Yeah, and now we're going to go to the boss. And then we can summon our good buddy Solaire for this boss fight. I don't know if I will. He actually makes the fight worse. Because he doesn't actually know how to fight the boss. And if you summon someone to help you, it does raise the boss's hit points, so it actually makes the boss tougher.
Yeah, some of the bosses, you don't want to summon. For the Moonlight Butterfly, the witch helps because she has ranged attacks, and if you're melee, that helps. The gargoyles, Solaire helps with those.
Yeah, and launch.
Especially, I mean, if you're new, he really helps because it's such a difficult fight your first time through.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like this one right here, I wouldn't bother summoning him because this boss is pretty easy, and if he's there, it kind of... If his attention is off you, it makes this boss harder.
Yeah, you actually want this boss to be focusing on you.
Yeah, it sounds counterintuitive, and I apologize, but the way his patterns are, like if he's focused on someone else, it makes it more difficult for you to kill
Yeah, and again, it raises his health, which just sort of exacerbates the problems. And also, Solaire just tends to always get stun locked and never actually does any damage. All right, and so now we see what does the
Gaping dragon. Looks harmless enough. Oh god, no.
Oh god. God damn it, I keep... Alright, this boss has a weak point. It's his tiny little head here. I'm not going to hit it at first, though, because I want to cut off his tail and get his weapon. This is one of the bosses that has a tail weapon.
Right. Well, basically any boss with a tail has a tail weapon. And this guy drops, what is it, the
Dragon King Great Axe.
Yeah. Now, there's several strategies. The head is the weak point. You basically want him to key into you and slam his head down on the ground, and then you go in and hit him. Another way is if you stay to his side, you're safe, basically. If you don't cut off the tail and you're behind him, he does a tail sweep. You kind of want to stay like where his legs are to the side because he can't really hit you there, so you just follow him wherever he goes and hit him. He's really not too difficult, because as you see, he really telegraphs his moves ahead of time. And hitting the head does a lot of damage.
And then I'm dumb.
And yeah, you gotta watch
And then
out.
I died.
And yeah.
Because I tried to get an extra hit in. Too greedy.
Gotta watch out.
Too greedy.
But so basically you want to not do what Deprava did and
Yeah.
have him walk over
You kind of want to do the exact opposite of what I did.
And again, the safest, though it takes longer, the safest method is to stay at the sides and hit his sides.
Yeah.
And just dodge his face slam. He does another attack where he flies into the sky and drops on you, but again, just sprinting out of the way and rolling will evade that. And then he does another attack that's kind of hard to predict when he does it, but he'll kind of stomp around and spread goo all over him. And that has a really far range and hurts a lot, so you just kind of have to get out of the way, and I don't really know if he signals that attack is going to happen in any way.
Yeah, he like hunches over and it looks like he's starting to vomit.
Okay, right. And basically he vomits out this like curse goo at you.
Yeah, and it will damage you, and I don't know if it does a status effect, but it will also do weapon degradation, or degradation to your gear.
Yeah, and it also like keeps flowing, so it basically insta-gives you if it hits you, so you just want to not touch that.
Yeah. But it's easy to see because his little vomiting startup animation is very long, so you have time to run to the edges of the arena and escape it.
Right. And if this is an early playthrough and if you're melee, actually a really good strategy is to take your armor off, because mobility is a lot better than defense in this fight. So being able to really just run around and get out of his way and hit him from the side is a much better way to kill him early on if this is your first game.
2 hits and run away. God damn it. There we go.
Oh, there's your souls.
Indeed. Come on, bossy poo.
And the Gaping Dragon if you read the axe thing, is actually a descendant of the dragons.
Yeah, he is an everlasting dragon,
Um, but he is
who,
sort of a bastardized, de-evolved version of them, kind of left over. He's
yeah,
like the incest kid from Deliverance, basically, of the dragons.
yeah, I believe his weapon, or the developers have said that he's an everlasting dragon who was driven underground by the Gwyn and the Knights, and he never could find enough to eat. There's his vomit attack. And he could never find enough to eat, and so his hunger sort of took him over and de-evolved him just into this giant mouth, because his hunger was the only thing that defined him eventually.
So he's just this kind of bastardized leftover of the once proud dragons.
God, are you shitting me?
You better run.
Yeah, I know. There we go. So that was him. That's really not that difficult if you're not stupid like me.
Well, this is sort of the pattern of all the, well, non-DLC bosses, is that they're kind of simple, but the problem is if you make one mistake, you die.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them do have this sort of effect where if you get hit once, they have a chance to stun lock you and hit you again, and then you're probably going to take a lot of damage.
So the thing is, if you read a guide or know how the pattern is, it's easier, but it's just, it takes one misstep and you're screwed.
Yep, and then here's our good buddy, Dorm Hall.
And this guy eventually will be on the Aqueduct Bridge near Firelink Shrine, and he'll sell you really good armors from bosses you defeat.
Yeah,
like
and
he'll sell you the Artorias armor and the Ornstein and Smog armors, whichever of those you kill.
And in New Game Plus, he'll sell you Gwyn's armor, etc., etc.
And those armors aren't really the best in the game, but they just look really sweet, and they're pretty good, so...
Yeah, well, and there's really not a best armor in the game. The game is balanced quite well in that, you know, you have...
can sort of pick and choose whichever you prefer.
Yeah, you can pick and choose...
Right, but those armors that he sells are the ones, they just look really cool.
Yeah.
They're all really awesome.
Yeah.